My name is Jenny. Welcome to my channel, JK Star A Reader. So today I will be reflecting on my past year in reading and setting a few goals for the new year. So let's get going. First, I thought my reading was fairly steady throughout the year. I read a total of 60 books and a few more. And so I hit my goal fairly earlier in the year, around the time of Halloween. And so with the last few weeks, I have still been reading, but my reading pace has slowed down quite considerably. I am still taking part in the Reindeer Readathon. I signed up and made a list of 9 books to read, but I still am taking it fairly slow, and I in finding things that I've been meaning to read, and finally getting some books done that I have been reading for a while, and just needed the extra push to get some of these titles that I have read. And so I think one standout author for the past year has been Zadie Smith. I really enjoyed reading White Teeth earlier in the year, and I started reading Swing Time a few weeks back. And so her writing is very compelling, and it interesting character dynamics and family stories, showcasing the life of a lonely gentleman who leaves his hometown in Bangladesh to live in the UK with a scholarship. And there he finds a new life for himself, and he marries and finds himself in a domestic life that is not what he had first expected, but somehow he still manages. And so yeah, it's a fairly interesting story, and the way that she was able to write the descriptions of him and his life as a professor, as well as his family life. And so yeah, and so with Swing Time, I read only a few chapters, but I do plan to read more of the book. And there is a new book out that is called The Fraud, and I will be looking forward to that in the new year. It is a historical fiction book set in England as well as Jamaica. And so it will be a fairly impactful book, and I'll have to wait a bit before I will be able to get a copy for myself. So yeah, and so I have a few other goals in mind for reading in the new year. I will definitely be working on the many books that I have in my collection. I do want to read as many as possible, even though I am now hearing about new titles being released in the year 2024. So I will be keeping my eye on what's happening there as well. Along with reading for BookTube, I also read for the radio show that I host in Western Canadian city. And so for that radio show, I focus on Canadian authors, many who are published by smaller presses, as well as one of the larger publishers in Canada. And so I pay attention to Canadian literature as it is produced every year with new titles, as well as paying attention with what's popular on BookTube and literature from UK and other parts of the world. And so I will be trying to read as many titles that I have in my possession, and many more that will be seems to be fairly promising, of the titles that I am now hearing about. And so, yeah, one major goal that I have for this year is to read the mass market paperbacks that I have. So I have 12 mass market paperbacks that I would like to read for the new year. So I'll show them to you now. So the first one is Hunting Party by Elizabeth Moon. So I've been interested in sci-fi and fantasy for a long time. It was something that I was fairly drawn to when I was younger. And although my reading tastes have broadened considerably since, I still have an interest in reading the sci-fi and fantasy books that I was interested in when I was in high school. And so this is definitely a name I recognize from, and I have read a few titles from this author, but it's been a few years since then. So, and I don't know exactly where this fits in the universe that she's created in her book titles, but it was something that popped when I was at the used bookstore. So yeah, this is a Hunting Party, and it looks like a retro sci-fi book with the art, with the astronaut in red and the planet behind in blue. So yeah, Hunting Party by Elizabeth Moon. Next I have Foundation and Empire, the second book in the Foundation series, and I also found this at the same used bookstore as the Elizabeth Moon book, and so this is would be considered a collector's edition of the book. I don't know if I'll actually be able to read from this without it falling apart, but I do want to get to this title fairly soon. Next, I have another book, and this was Tanya Huff. She's a Canadian sci-fi fantasy writer, and this one is a standalone. It is the Enchantment Emporium. And so I read her series, which features a dead prince from England, and who is a vampire. And so I think it's been enough time that I want to read more books by her, and the more recent ones as well. So yeah, The Enchantment Emporium by Tanya Huff. Next, I have the Bourne Identity. There's news that there might be a new Bourne movie that is in the works, and I don't know quite what the details are about that. But it made me want to go back to the couple of novels in the series that I have on hand, and so this is the first one, the Bourne Identity. Next I have The Shining by Stephen King. I've been meaning to read more books by Stephen King. I read The Misery last year, and I still haven't had a chance to read much more. And so this is the one that I am thinking of reading soon in the new year. So yeah, The Shining. And another book is The Wayfarer Redemption by Sarah Douglas. Sarah Douglas is another name from, I guess, old 1980s and early 2000s sci-fi, and so this is a book that I've had for a while now as well, and I think I'll probably be able to get around to it if I make it known to the whole world in this video that I intend to read this book. So I think this is an Australian author. Another book that I have in my mass market paperback, this one is The French Executioner by C.C. Humphreys, who is a theater artist as well as author. And this is a historical fiction that it takes place during the time of King Henry VIII, and it focuses on something nefarious, I guess. So, The French Executioner by C.C. Humphreys. Next, I have The Murder of Crows. I think this is the second book in a series with multiple volumes in the series, and this is a woman who uses blood magic to communicate and use her powers, and so this is maybe a little bit intense at times, but it's also a slow burn romance. So yeah, Murder of Crows. Another book in my mass market paperback reading list, it is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. And so this book was going around on book 2 for a bit, but I think it is a book that critics disliked, so I still would like to see what this is about, so I'll give it a go. And another book that in my mass market paperback goals list, it is Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. So this one I found at one of those board game stores, and so they have a good collection of genre fiction, and so I thought it was a great opportunity to get my own volume of this book. So Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, or Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Another book that I found at the used bookstore, this one is A Heroine in the World by Tanith. Another name from classic sci-fi fantasy, and this is seems to be more a fantasy novel with the, I guess, colorful design of the clothes that the character wears. So yeah. And the last book in my mass market paperback goal reading list, this one is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And so I do have a couple more books by this author in my collection, and I was happy to have been able to find this one also at the used bookstore that I frequent more often than I really do think so. Alright, that's it for me for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!